This is the ACB one-year overview reading for the year 2023. It's currently November 13th, 2023 at 3:34 p.m. Eastern Time. And the price of ACB currently at the time of this reading is $1.53. So the overall theme and behavior, this is a very bullish reading, guys. I gotta say, very bullish. So at $1.24, I mean, we were all the way up to like 150 on this stock at one point. Now we're down like below $2. Oof. So I'd say, and it does look like we're bottoming out too. This looks like possible bottom out. In any case, this is a rally. The overall theme and trend direction is a rally that increases with momentum moving forward into the year. And it's crossed with some significant moves higher that would stand out on a multi-year chart. Or at least on a one-year chart, but probably on a multi-year chart to reach a prominent crest or a high for the year. There's a few places where that takes place. Behavior around the actual highest high, there'll be a decline due to multiple headwinds. Usually it's like a resistance level that's pretty strong, and we come up against it and aren't able to break it, and we break down, with a significant decline from that point. It looks like there may be a correlation between the high for the year and the Magus card, really. So we should see like a big move going into the highs for the year, the highest high for the year at least. Possibly a big move out of it as well. So the Magus card is a wild kind of card. Behavior around the low the lowest low for the year. The Empress card, especially on like a generalized time frame, like a large time frame reading, like a one-year reading. It's a definitive bullish opportunity. So the Empress card is a sideways fluctuation with a bearish decline preceding a rally. It's generally like you find the beginning of a rally out of that sideways fluctuation with the bearish trend. And it does look like it goes even higher the following year. Alright, so behavior, each cluster, if you don't know, guys, how to read one of these, basically each cluster of 4 cards here creates a month. It's the early part of the month, the late part of the month, information about the month's high, information about the month's low, right? And this is information about the highest high for the year, information about the lowest low for the year, right? Also some terminology. So when I say like a prominent high, this is the highest high on this chart, which is all-time chart. This is the highest high, which is roughly $150, maybe just a few cents more. All right, these are prominent highs. This is a prominent high. This is a prominent high. You could say that this is, and then when you get into more flat territory, you could say this is a prominent high, this is a prominent high. And what I mean by that, like when you get down here, highest high on this chart right now is here, right? But this is a prominent high, this is a prominent high. So what that means is like you've got a trend going in one direction, you're making lower lows, and then all of a sudden you make a higher high, right? It's higher than this high is higher than this high after making lower lows. That's what I would call a prominent low there, because it's changed direction, and then a prominent high because it looks like we changed direction again. Prominent low, prominent high, prominent low, prominent high, prominent low. You see what I'm saying? So, and then on a more volatile chart, prominent high, prominent high, prominent high, prominent low, prominent low, prominent low. These are local lows, what you call. They're not the highest or the lowest point on the chart, right? They're not the lowest points on the chart, but they're still significant lows that stand out. So I call them local lows. And the same thing goes. This is the highest high. You could say these are both pretty much the highest high, but these are local highs, right? They stand out. They're prominent local highs. All right. So with that said, behavior in early January, we have sideways we have erratic behavior back and forth through the same price level, and we revisit a crest that was recently a past opportunity. So usually on the scale of a 1-year chart, recently is usually like within 3 months or so. The behavior in late January, we have a move higher through a resistance level that stands out on a 1-year chart. We stay above it briefly, and then we break back down through the same price level with a full retracement of that move higher. Also, a male ruler is highlighted around the low of the month, which it appears to me the low for the month of January is likely within like the first 2 weeks of January. It's also the first prominent low for the year, and it's within close time proximity to the high for the month of January as well. So looks like probably we have, I'd say probably we have a high here in the second 2 weeks. We have a month's high in the second 2 weeks, and remember there's that peak up higher through resistance. We stay above it briefly, and then we break back down through the same price level. Looks like we may do like 3 pokes, with one of them being like a prominent move higher and then back down with a full retracement. And then it looks like that's after we see the month's low and the first prominent low. But we go higher in late January, and we come back down. And then it looks like there's an agreement or a merger of some kind in early February, an agreement between 2 leaders or a merger, acquisition, something highlighted around there that makes the stock shoot up higher. So it shoots up higher, and it looks like it starts shooting up higher in early February. So we go from a crest sort of in January, poke up through resistance, back down, and then we have like another shot higher due to like a merger or something. And the high of February is higher than the high of January, but there's like either Congress is highlighted or like some sort of like legislation of some kind is highlighted around the February high, and there's like maybe a holding pattern, then a pop and drop, and we find ourselves within find ourselves at like a prominent low on the cusp, it looks like, on the cusp of February, March, at a significant support level on a multi-year chart, or at least on a 1-year chart, significant support level. And we do 3 crisscrosses back and forth around that prominent low for the year. That's probably the best opportunity to get in on the long side that I could see. In the midst of that, there's like, okay, so we go higher into February, and then we drop, right? So a move higher in January, then down a little bit, then higher in February, and then we drop on like the cusp of February, March, and then there's a really fast move higher out of that low that happens on the cusp, to reach a crest that's roughly about the same price level, somewhere between the first 2 peaks, the one in January and the one in February. Takes us to another peak, and it looks like a lot of ground is covered with that drop from the February high to like a trough probably here in the mid part of the month. That may be probably the best opportunity, I think, to get in on the long side. And keep in mind, guys, you got to give a little fluctuation, a couple weeks here back and forth, because not every energy is going to line up exactly with 2 weeks. But then out of that trough lower, we have also the high and the low in February. From the high to the low, they're within close time proximity, so maybe within like 3 weeks of each other. And then we go to that third peak there with a fast sudden move higher. And that's after falling from multiple support levels from that February high. We shoot with a higher, with a fast sudden move higher, possibly breaking through multiple resistance levels there. And then that fast sudden move higher is fully retraced back down to the downside, with a decline that increases with momentum moving forward into April. I'm advised to open a protection if we're still at a peak towards like the end of March. We haven't started that decline yet. That's where I would likely purchase some protection, because that decline will be notable, and then it takes us to a low, like a prominent low for the year. I don't think it'll be lower than the last low that we saw on the cusp between February and March, but it's a prominent low. And then there's an unexpected move higher out of that prominent low in early April, and we create a crest there's a rally that increases with momentum moving forward into the April month's high. This may be it's probably another significant prominent high here in April. And then we sell from that April, creating a crest. From that April high, we create a crest, selling down to and through a support level, and then we do a U-shaped reversal below that support level, come back and reuse it as support. It's probably a new high here, like higher than the one in March. So there's probably a pretty significant drop there between those two. It looks like it's hard. It's a little difficult for me to read the low here. Interesting. But there's likely a new high here in April, and then towards the end of the month we have a big move higher, pushing the upper end of a range higher. And there's a breakout there. What else? Towards the cusp of April, May, I'm advised if I'm in a losing position that I'll want to like adjust there or cut my losses. What I mean by that is, in a lot of cases when I'm playing volatility, I'll purchase like a straddle or strangle or a vertical call spread or something like that. But it's a spread. It has more than one leg of options, and normally you put those on together. But when you time the market, you can put those on separately and make a lot more money. But what'll happen sometimes is you end up with a position that's really like the leftover of a winning position. There's a losing position left over. Sometimes you hold on to that in the case of it coming back. In this case, right around the cusp of April, May, I would be advised to let go of a position like that. Man, there's a lot going on there. I'm sorry, guys. There's a lot going on in like trying to figure out the sequence here. Well, okay. So the behavior moving into the May high is sideways fluctuation with a bullish trend, but it does innately, the chariot card innately has within it, it precedes that rally higher with sideways fluctuation. It precedes a decline. So it's, in a lot of cases, it's kind of like the opposite of the Empress card energy. You think the Emperor was, but as far as chart behavior is concerned, it's kind of like the opposite. Chart behavior. And then around the low, which appears to be towards the end of the month, the May low appears to be within like the last 2 weeks of the month, and it forms after we have a failed attempt to break through a key resistance, followed by selling from a near overbought crest or peak down to and through a key support level on the scale of at least a 1 month, but probably a 1 year chart. And then there's some sort of spoken word or speech or something that comes out around the May low. And it's intentionally deceptive. I'm advised not to believe what's being, whatever's spoken there. in June, there's a resistance level that marks a good opportunity to position oneself in both directions, utilizing option spread, so a straddle or a strangle there. It looks like we probably sell from a crest there. There's really a lot of bullish movement in April. I just keep picking up on it. A lot of bullish movement in April. Although the May high also has a rally that increases with momentum moving forward into it. But it looks like we sell from like whatever crest we have here in May. From that near overbought crest or peak, we sell to an important price level here that acts as resistance, and there's some volatility. So we break through it and then we utilize it as resistance, and there's some volatility. And the June high is likely lower than the May high, but it's at an important price level there. 3 pokes through the same price level and then a drop from there. And it looks like so that price level in early June is good a trade opportunity. The first 2 trade opportunities, by the way, one around the low first thing in January, or even better around the low in February, or towards like the cusp of February, March, give or take a couple weeks. And then the next real trade opportunity is there. So interesting. Yeah, there's a price level there that we see a higher price level than it and a lower price level than it, and so it's a good like marker there in June. There'll be quite a bit of volatility around it when it's being first met as resistance. And I think in the case, to be clear, we're selling out of May's near overbought crest through a price level that's significant, and then we attempt to use it, and it acts as resistance. And then there's volatility from there, bringing us to another prominent low. I don't think this will be a lower low, but this is a prominent low for the year in June. With such a bullish chart, chances are this is a higher low than the preceding low. It's just based on how bullish this stuff looks. And there's a pretty notable move to the upside out of the low in late June. The behavior into the low of June, it looks like there's the halting of a bullish trend marked by a sharp decline through a key support level on a 1-year chart. So we may come up against like key resistance, I think probably around like June-ish. Key resistance. Maybe the same price level as April. It's probably the same price level as the highest high, and it's not being indicated because there's higher highs to come. But the behavior around the end of June, out of a trough, there is there's quite a bit of volatility in late June, and a sharp drop within that period of volatility that brings us to a prominent lower trough for the years again. I think the trough here this trough that I'm seeing here at the end of June is probably really in early July. Remember, give or take a couple weeks, guys, so I think it's probably in early July, but there's a notable trough here where we do some sideways fluctuations along a key support level, increasing with So we either see that price level that I was talking about in June, like towards the later part of June, and then we have a push higher to that price level in late June, and then we fall from there pretty significantly with a sharp drop into a trough, or we see that price level in early June and then again around the high of July. It's hard to say from here, but Probably what we do is we fall into a trough. They probably share, not certain, but they probably share that trough. And then there's that sideways rotation along key support. Behavior around the low, it was a rally that broke down with a rally along a diagonal trend line that broke down with a fast sudden move higher, and then a breakdown through the diagonal trend line with increasing volatility into the low. So like probably the rally into the important price level here towards the end of June, followed by a sharp decline to a low and another prominent trough for the year here in, let's say, mid-July. There's also some sort of fake out or shakeout intentional move that creates some sort of false technical indicator around like the high of June, July. And out of the trough that we see in July, there is a notable move to the upside, and we find ourselves, there's a significant move higher into the high that we see in August. That's probably a higher high than we've seen thus far. It's either the same high as April-ish. It's probably a higher high, or it's the same as the highest high, I should say. And there's a cash out opportunity there. So there's a notable rally, some real momentum in the midst of some like volatility that picks up in strength. There's a bit of a rally, like wild rally higher to reach that high there. It looks like towards maybe mid to the late, between like the second and third week, probably of August, and that'll be a highest high thus far. There's a rally that increases with momentum moving forward into there. Cash out opportunity, matter of fact, it looks like in early August, there's that unicursal to keep in mind. And so we hit a resistance, or we create a resistance, like a rally that creates a resistance here, and then we break down with consecutively lower spikes up on the way down. It looks like we create that rally there, and or create that resistance in late August, and then we have that decline. A lot of rallying towards the end of August, looks like. And there's another trade opportunity around, we revisit that change price level there. In the midst of like that rally, there's a revisiting of this change price level, which is probably roughly the same price level as the change card here. They may be like, this may be like the low, the high for July, may be the low for August, based on like how much movement I'm seeing here. It's hard to say, but there's a drop there. The peak here in mid-August, I'm advised to open up some protection or open up a short position, and then there's a notable drop to another prominent low. In September, and the September high, there's a decline out of the September high that marks an opportunity to open up a long position. So looks like we go higher probably than whatever we see here, but that's after like a notable drop to a prominent low. There'll be a decline through key support on a 1-year chart to meet a second key support on a 1-year chart, and then we'll rotate sideways along that key support, and it's probably revisiting a past opportunity here between August and September, a past opportunity at a key support level in the midst of some sideways rotation. Excuse me, guys, I'm so sorry. And then there's a prominent reversal on a 1-year chart standing out in late September. Another big move. First, we declined through. We declined through a key support level that we'd recently broken down through before, so maybe within like the last few months preceding this early October breakdown. But there is also a notable move higher and a failed attempt to break through key resistance. There's a rally that increases with momentum moving forward into the October high. off of the October high, there's another notable decline to a prominent lower crest there towards the cusp of October and November-ish. That's probably the lowest low for the year as well, so like there's like a notable drop there, but it's an opportunity to open up a long position out of the prominent low or lowest low that we see there. It's most likely the lowest low, not certain, but most likely the lowest low. And out of that low, there's a significant move out of oversold territory to the upside, or to fill a previous gap down on the scale of like a like a 1 year chart. There's sideways rotation in early November that ends with a fast sudden move higher to meet a resistance level in late November, and that resistance level marks an opportunity to open up to place a swing trade as well. Probably close out of a long position that was opened. It looks like the move out of the lowest low in November continues into, I should say, December, and we have a year's high in December after a breakout through key resistance due to a rally that increases with momentum moving into this high that we see a lot of price movement to the upside in late December, and that's going to be likely the highest high, the same high as we had in August, or more likely a higher high than we had in August there in December. And from that December prominent peak or crest that we see on a 1 year chart, there'll be a notable decline standing out on a 1 year chart, moving lower, and it's probably more than just ACB that's falling at that point. Something global maybe, or maybe it has to do with like the industry as a whole, or the marijuana industry, something like that. There's a trade opportunity there around the prominent high with a big move to reach it, standing out on a 1 year chart, and then we have a big drop out of that as well, a big decline out of that peak or crest. However, it does look like we have a lot of bullish behavior in 2024. That bullish behavior, although, offers an opportunity to open up a short position. But there is quite a bit of energy there to the upside. Big move higher, and a rally increasing with momentum moving forward into the year. I think probably the best trades that I can make here will be to open up a long position around that crest or low that we see in February, maybe February, March, but February. Probably hold that long position until I'd probably hold that long position until the August high, early August, in the midst of a rally to the high, and then around June I'd probably open up around a key resistance level. I'd probably open up. It's probably the same resistance level, or it's hard to say, but there's a price level there that I'd want to open up a short position to make sure that I'm positioned in both directions. Excuse me, I also want to open up protection around the high of March. I'd be positioned in both directions by June. Sell my long position in July, probably double up on my short position. Sell my short position probably October, November-ish, in the midst of a notable decline. And I'd also open up a long position and hold that probably into 2024 in the midst of that decline when I close out of the short position. And then I'd be pretty much just long moving into 2024. However, there is a price level there where I'm offered an opportunity again to open up a short position and position myself so that I'm playing both ways in the market, and that opportunity is there towards like the end of November, maybe into December. So probably at that high there, that December highest high, open up short position but hold the long position that I had opened around November. That's what I got for ACB 2023. Look forward to reviewing this next year, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, when you make money from this reading, Follow that rule of karma. It's important to keep this channel going and keep the flow going through the universe. If you're wondering, ACB 2023 file was created October 26th, 2022. Boom. I'll see you guys on the next one. Okay, I'm going to do questions and answers here, see if I can pinpoint some price levels. For those of you that are interested, this is the shuffle that was actually created on October 26th, 2022. This is the one-year overview reading for ACB throughout the year of 2023. That's Aurora Cannabis. It's currently October 25th, 2022, approximately 2:30 p.m. The current price is approximately $1.24 per share. All right. We can take a look at maybe these price levels will help as well. So is the highest high for the year, is ACB's highest price level for the year 2023 within December 2023? Maybe. Interesting. So it's probably hit a second time. Is it a maybe because it's hit? We hit that price level once before. Yes. Do we hit that price level the first time in August of 2023? Oof. Yes. There's not like a big rally card there, but there's a lot of correlation there in August to a significant high rally higher, a lot of correlation. So, do ACB shares reach a higher price level in 2024 than they reached in 2023? So probably we see maybe and then a yes. So like probably what we do is we see, is it that we see a significant low before we see a higher price level? No. Is it that we see like we hit resistance at the 2023 price level, and then pull back, and then there's another big move and that takes us higher? Yes. Is the best opportunity to buy ACB shares in the year of 2023 taking place within the month of February 2023? Yes. Is the lowest low for ACB shares in the year of 2023 taking place in February of 2023? No. Is the lowest low for ACB shares in the year of 2023 taking place within the month of November? Yes.